Yo, what's up guys, Immersive. What I got for you guys today is a more brief physical description of the mod called Enhanced First Person Camera. This one is kind of like a off in-depth version I did on the previous video called Immersive First Person, but this one's been more attuned and been more somewhat favorable. So this one, as you can see, I'll go in the first person here, and I got my wife Serana and my steward Ayala here. And as you can tell, I can see my body no problem, even when I duck. But when I pull out my bow, you'll notice that in the first video that I made of this, the bow kind of actually went out of view. Actually, I can do a demonstration of that right now. Okay, well maybe not. But either way, you know what the view looked like that from the previous video, and if you don't, I'll link the video in the description as well as an annotation on the box. So as you notice that the camera does not go out of focus, but yet you can still see the bottom, and you can even see a shadow too, which is pretty cool. Alright, so with that out of the way, another thing that people have forgotten to go into is what other features that this camera can be featured in. Well, let's test it on the Vampire Lord as well as the Werewolf. Now, unfortunately for me, I have both powers, and because the mod that I have, and I sort of like the background music to this too. I gotta get the soundtrack for that. But anyway, so here's what it looks like for the Werewolf. I know, right? Alright, so here we go as the Werewolf. Now, for my carry capacity, it was well over 2,000 over the recommended, which you actually normally do to upgrade normally. Oh, great. I didn't want to hopefully start that fight anytime soon, but either way, I'll let them battle it out. So when we go in the first person here, you notice that you can see the hands and the feet, but when you run, it's stable. Like when you're walking, sort of, it's stable. Like there's no head rocking motion, even when you sprint. So it's more stable, so there's no head cameraing bouncing, which in my opinion, I do prefer the other one because it feels like you're more of a werewolf when you're running and stuff, but this one kind of stabilizes in case you guys get a little bit too dizzy. Of course, when you... Alright, so without that little brief intrudence there, oh god, you guys had to pick a fight that was so unnecessary. Now I gotta clean up the mess. Yes. Sorry, my werewolf is at full maximum right now. He can't kill me. Let's go in the first person and see how that's dealt with. There. They're both dealt with. Alright, so as I get myself set up for the Vampire Lord here, hopefully I didn't create an unnecessary save, but either way, here's the Vampire Lord. Now the reason why I've got both powers here is because at the time I was kind of wanting to switch up the tables a little bit because I had the Werewolf already souped up and everything, so I kind of figured I'd get Serana to bite me, you know. So she did, and unfortunately I can't seem to get rid of this now, even waiting for Falion, which obviously I guess my vampirism stage is not that high because at 175 you'd be given the quest for the Rising Dawn quest to speak to Falion to otherwise get your black soul gem filled up and stuff like that and get cured. Well, I haven't received that yet, so I'm taking the benefit of actually experimenting with both. So here I go and transform to the Vampire Lord. And I can't really frickin' move because I'm over encumbered in weight. So, oh, looks like we can go into first person. That's pretty darn cool. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the sprinting part, and there's Ayala turning herself into a werewolf, fighting a fight that doesn't really need to be fought. But either way, they're gonna deal with the fight, not me. So let's see what it looks like from there. So that looks pretty darn cool. I mean, it makes your aiming more accurate. And of course, if I'm playing with the gamepad controller, so if you play it on the mouse, you can use a scroll wheel to actually zoom in, and you should get the first person view. But now I'm gonna revert to my freaking human form because I can't move for shit in this. Alright, so there we go. We're back to our normal weight, which is pretty freaking awesome. But as a werewolf, fortunately for me, I can run with all this weight. So as you can tell, as a Terminator, I guess what really sparked it in the first place was I started as the Breton race, and then after I got infected by lycanthropy, if you want to call it that, I switched my race after I got infected, and once I transformed into the werewolf and then transformed back, I was reverted back to the Breton race, which obviously my weight was over exceedingly and I couldn't even freaking run. So now I run the console command called set race to Terminator, and then obviously it puts me back into the form and I can run again. So just a notification that if you guys are doing heavy modding on here, make sure that you set your race to whatever it is you want. So for example, for me, Terminator, because it boosts my stamina and health so much that it makes me invincible and all that stuff. So make sure that when you do something, make sure you set the race that you want to prior to doing these infections, or else otherwise you'll be just like in my position. But either way, that pretty much there's another part to the story I gotta get to. I'll be right back. Alright, so the third part to this mod is featuring when you go crafting materials and stuff. So whenever you go to the workbench here, you'll notice that your camera goes into a third person watching your character kind of like hammering down something. Well, when you do that, it actually takes you into a personal perspective of what it's like to mold, you know, from a first person. And of course, when you go to the blacksmith forge, you notice that the camera will go out of proportion a little bit to show you that your guy is actually pulling on the lever to force more whatever it is that goes into that pit. And of course you can go about doing your stuff. And lastly, when you go to sharpen your object, the grindstone, you'll actually see yourself, well sort of, grinding your own blade. Except for when you do that, you'll notice that the map kind of goes a little bit wonky because you're kind of, I don't know, something with the game file that you're kind of going beyond its boundaries. Either way, anything that you could think of that would require your character to go in third person, you'll now see in first person using this mod directly. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be sure to leave all the mods that I've used in this current episode to make sure that, you know, if you find anything that you like interesting in this, the aesthetics or anything that I've done here recently, I'll leave it in the description below for your guys' convenience to try out for yourself. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in my next video. Thank you for watching.